history at TDWI since '97. I think you told me. Talk to me about how TDWI has evolved over that time.
Okay, I've seen a lot of changes in that time. When I first started with TDWI, I taught at their second conference ever in 1997. It was all about data integration, data warehousing. At that time, we thought integrated data was really the objective. Since then, we've evolved from data warehousing to business intelligence to business analytics, and today we're focused on advanced analytics and big data analytics. And as we see those changes, as we see it advance, it becomes more and more true that the data warehouse is sort of something under the hood, and that the data warehouse is the means, not the end. And we're moving closer and closer to this reality where business capability is the end state, and everything that sits behind that, analytics and data, is all about how to get to business capability.
Interesting. Your latest course offering is in the area of data warehouse automation. Before we talk about why you think the time is right for that, talk to me about what is data warehouse automation?
Data warehouse automation is the idea that we can use technology, we can use software systems to help us do the heavy lifting of building data warehouses. If the data warehouse is something that's under the hood, it's not the thing that's delivering direct business value, but it's still a large part of the cost and the time and the staffing effort to deliver business intelligence, to deliver analytics, and to ultimately reach those business capabilities. So the idea with data warehouse automation is that we should take these things that are repeatable, stop reinventing the wheel, and be able to shift that heavy lifting from being a human burden to being a software and a systems burden. And that includes not only the building of the data warehouse. Warehouse automation is much more than simply generation of ETL. It's automating the entire data warehousing life cycle, from requirements through building the data warehouse, testing, operation, and cycles of change.
Very good. You've developed a lot of courses for TDWI. Why now? Why did you feel now was the time for data warehouse automation?
I think the technology's been around for a while. It's not seen rapid adoption, and I think it's mostly not seen rapid adoption because it's not very well known. In keeping with TDWI's mission of education, I think it's the time to educate the general community of BI stakeholders in the power and the capabilities of data warehouse automation and the strength that it can bring to your entire BI program in terms of shifting your talent and your resources to the business-facing part of BI and away from huge investment in the back end.
Very good. You've taught the class now, I think, 3 times, maybe more. What's been the feedback? What kind of responses you've been getting from the audience?
In general, very positive responses. There seems to be a lot of eye-opening and people who come into the class sort of curious, what is this data warehouse automation thing all about? And go out excited, energized, and think this opens up new horizons for them. I occasionally get someone who has already done some work in the automation space, sort of in build your own homegrown automation systems, and they begin to recognize when they see the capabilities that these tools have, how much they've invested to barely scratch the surface of automation capabilities. Most of those doing homegrown automation find themselves focusing on the build part, on the ETL, and they're still doing the heavy lifting for the testing. They're still doing the heavy lifting for the deployment and for the change management. So a lot of eye-opening. People are not really aware of really the strength and the power of these tools. And they come into the class curious, and they leave energized and excited and enthusiastic. Perhaps one of the big things that cause some people to sometimes be reluctant to step into automation is they expect that it has to be very, very expensive. And the reality is it's a fairly low cost of entry for a great deal of value in return.
What is the pushback on automation?
You get a couple of kinds of pushback. One is that uncertainty about the cost of entry. One is the issues of how do I get it funded. Another one is sort of the not invented here, the way we've always done it. I don't want automation to take away my job. That kind of defensive positioning. And maybe the third one is that tendency that every organization has to think we're unique, we're special, we're different than everybody else. It doesn't matter how unique your industry is, how unique your BI program is. Under the hood, you're doing the same fundamental repeatable processes of understanding data sources, understanding your target environment, mapping sources to targets, defining data transformations, and connecting that back to business user requirements for data. And those are repeatable processes no matter how specialized your architecture, and automation will serve those things.
How does an organization get started with data warehouse automation? What do you suggest?
I'd suggest that you start where you have the greatest pain. So where are you spending substantial resource, lots of staffing, you're really talented people to do things that aren't adding new business value? If you're doing repeated maintenance on a data warehouse, if you're doing a lot of heavy lifting simply to bring new data or new subject areas into a data warehouse, or because a data source changed, it takes a lot of effort. You're not adding new value, you're just doing back-end work to keep pace with changing business environment or changing data sources. That's a good opportunity for automation. If you're struggling to go agile, under pressure to go agile, but having difficulty getting there because agile analytics is relatively easy compared to agile data integration. Automation is a good pathway to becoming agile on the back end and being able to integrate the data quickly so that you can then respond to the front end and the analytic and business information needs. So wherever the pain point is, if it's agile, go there. If it's maintenance, go there. If it's change, go there. But start where you're going to be able to really demonstrate value. I might also suggest that it's a good idea to ask automation vendors to work with you on a proof of concept. Take one of your pain points and let the vendors show you what automation tools can do for you.
So is the day of the time to value and the years to build a data warehouse, is that what we're trying to get rid of here, Dave? Is that still an issue out there?
It's very much an issue. We spend way too much time to build to yesterday's requirements. Often we spend way too much time to build to poorly understood requirements. We still haven't gotten past that myth that's been proven untrue over and over and over again, that the business people know what they need or know what they want. They know what they want through a process of discovery. So very strongly connected with the idea of Agile is the idea that data warehouse automation can help you discover what the requirements are through rapid cycles of iteration where you don't have to rebuild each time. So we can break out of that mold of having to in great painful detail, analyze the requirements, and then go off and build it simply to bring it back and discover that that's not exactly what was needed.
Very good. Anything else you'd like to add on that topic?
I think the only thing I'd add is that anyone who is involved in building, managing, maintaining, or operating a data warehouse should certainly take a look at data warehouse automation. It's relatively low cost of entry and tremendous potential for payback.